So in the previous class, we have seen about conflict serializability, right? And we have understood, if with the help of a few examples, how we find the conflict serializability. The classification of schedules based on serializability. The second topic, subtopic of this topic is your view serializability, right? We will understand first why view serializability is there, why there is a need of this one, right? So why we are not able to solve the questions with the help of conflict serialization, why we already know, right, what we are doing in this topic over here. For any parallel or say concurrent schedule transactions, we are finding a serial schedule, right? First understand why there is a requirement of serial schedule over here, right? So let's understand with the help of example, and then we will see what actually view serializability is, right? Schedule is there in which let's take three transactions with some operations: read, write, and again write. We have this one, right? So understand here, if we talk about the conflict serializability, how we used to find out with the help of precedence graph, right? So let's find out the precedence graph for this one, that is transaction T2 and T3. The number of nodes we have is the number of transactions we have, right? Now the as is are what your conflict pair. Start from the top, read of A. Conflict pair is write of A, but different transactions. That is in T2 we have as well as in T3. So as will be from T1 to T2 and T1 to T3, right? So this is done. Now write of A, right? So write of A is a conflict pair with again write of A and read of A, but from different transaction, that is over here and here. So T2 to T1 and T2 to T3. So T2 to T1 and T2 to T3. That's now this one T1. There is a conflict with T3, that is T1 to T3, which is already we have. So see this graph, precedence graph we have seen. If this graph is cyclic, right? So from any node you just stand and you reach to the same node after traversing at least one node. The same graph is cyclic, right? So in that case, understand uh, the concept is as a conflict serializability. The concept is if the graph is acyclic, we have seen, right? So we draw the precedence graph, and if the graph is acyclic, right, there is no loop, then we say it is conflict serializable, right? Means when there is a no loop, understand the flow or say the cycle, right? We say it is conflict serializable, right? And if it is conflict serializable, we say it is serializable. It is serializable means for the corresponding schedule there exists a serial schedule, right? And we know serializability, the schedule which have the serializability is consistent. This is the flow, right? So we started from the precedence graph. No cycle means conflict serializable, and serializability it follows, and it is a it will keep the database consistent, right? So but if there is a loop, right, so understand if there is a loop, it means it means what, it is not conflict serializable. And we know we identify why we are doing conflict serializability, because this is the one of the method to find any serializable or say the serial schedule. This is one of the method, right? But if it fails, means there is a loop, then it say it is not conflict serializable, but it does not guarantee about serializability, because this method might not be applicable on such type of schedules, right? In that case, whenever we find a loop in the precedence graph, we will not say that it is not serializable. We say it is not conflict serializable, but it may be serializable. Why? If we perform some more actions or say some methods on this schedule, we may find some serial schedule, right? This may happen. So if graph contains no loop, there is it ensures that it is conflict serializable, right? And definitely serializability will follow. But if there is a loop, then it's still not clear that whether it is serializable or not. We cannot answer that, right? So let's take some value and understand about this schedule, what's happening. Let's say the value in the database, that is a equals to 10, right? So when we apply the read a, it will take the 10 value into the local buffer, right, shared buffer. Now this read a will read what, 10. After this one, this write a will do. So this write, let's make the changes a equals to a minus 4, that is 10 minus 4 6, right? So it changes the value 6 over here. After this, now this write operation, again let's say this is a equals to a minus 4, for example. 6 minus 4, that's what, 2. So I think the value 2 changed to here. So again 2 over here. Now let's say a equals to a minus 2, for example, and it's 0. So the final write operation, the result you are getting 0 over here, right? This one. Now we draw the precedence graph. I mean, found it's a cycle over here, right? Now let's say if I change the above schedule to something like this, for example, let's see. We have read, write operation, then we can have write, and then write a. Okay, fine. Now see, understand. Uh, let's take the same value a equals to 10 in the database. We read the operation. We took the value a into the local buffer, right? And now this a, let's say this a equals to a minus 6 again. That is, oh, sorry, a minus 4. That is what, 10 minus 4 is 6. So it's changed the value 6 over here, right? Now to this one, that is a equals to a minus 4. 6 minus 4, that is 2, right? So value changed to 2, and this again a equals to a minus 2, that is 0 0. See, for the final operation, the result of after final operation is 0 over here, and the 0 was also here, right? There is nothing wrong, and we have the operation, same operations, but I have changed the order. See, this pair, I have just performed a swap operation between them, and I got this one. The final write operation in this, understand this, the final write operation was done by transaction T3, right, in this schedule. In this, let's say S dash, the final write operation is also done by T3 transaction, right? And we got the same result. But understand now, in this one, if we draw the precedence graph, that is T1, T2, and T3, right? See now, start from here, read A, the conflict pair, it with T2 and T3, right? Both of them are in conflict pair. So T1 goes to T2 and T3. Now for this one, right of A, conflict pair with T2 and T3, already we have, right? So now this one, right of A conflict pair with lower one, that is right of A, that is from T2 to T3. So from T2 to T3, that's it. Now see, there is no cycle over here. This is what acyclic, right? This is acyclic, means this is of obviously conflict serializable. But isn't it a serializable also? It means a serial schedule, obviously, because first we are running complete T1, then we are running complete T2, and then we are running complete T3. That is, if you, and we can understand this from this also. If you draw the topological order for this one, first we have the T1, then what we have T2, and then we have T3. We can see over here also, right? But see, this is the same. I mean, this S and S dash, isn't it the same operations we have taken, same number of transaction? So what I meant to say is, this schedule, when we are having the original schedule and we draw the precedence graph, we understood that we cannot find out the serial schedule using conflict serializability, right? But understand, if I shuffle the values and I got some other transactions, I mean the serial transaction, if I run T1 first, T2 second, and T3 next, then we can say that this is serializable. But this serial schedule was not able to find out using conflict serializability. The reason was it is restricted to the graph, right? So in the graph, it is a cycle. It says that I cannot find out whether it's serializable or not. But I will not say that it is not serializable. It may be serializable, right? In this case, both of the schedule are what view serializable, right? So we understand, we will find out this schedule, right? This one serial schedule with the help of view serializability, right? In conflict serializer, if you remember, first to prove the conflict serializable schedule, two schedules are conflict serializable if and only if they are view conflict, they are conflict, they form a conflict pair, means they are conflict equivalent, right? Two schedules are conflict equivalent, that is must to prove that they are conflict serializable, right? So we have seen what are the conflict equivalent, although we generally don't swap those pair which are conflict, right? So all those things we have seen. Similarly, in this view scale serializability, we will see that first to prove some schedule is view serializable, first we will prove that it is view equivalent or not, right? So again, we need to check whether it's view equivalent or not. But when we will do, in case of there is a loop in this one precedence graph, right? So I hope it's clear now, right? Why there is a requirement of view serializability, because with the help of graph, we cannot say if there is a loop, we cannot say it's serializable or not, right? So a schedule, remember, a schedule may not be conflict serializable, but it can be view serializable. Yes or no? So we can understand this. For example, if this is conflict serializable, then there is a upper class over this one, that is view serializable, right? Means these are those schedules which are not conflict serializable, but these are view serializable, right? But these all comes under what? Consistent, right? These are all what? uh, Consistent schedules, right? And after this we have inconsistent schedule, right? So these are serializable, we views serializable schedules. Now we will understand how we find out these if we fails in conflict serializable, right? Consistent schedule means these are serializable, right? So so there are more schedule, we can say that, which can be find out serializable using view serializability, right? But we first find out conflict serializability, then view. Remember, there is a reason, right? So I just uh, told you in the previous class also, whenever there is a questions ask you to find out whether there is a view serial, whether the schedule is view serializable or not, right? Always remember, first find out whether it is conflict serializable or not. First remember, this is from examination point of view, right? So any examination it can be, first try to identify whether it's a conflict serial or not. If the schedule is conflict serializable, then it is sure that it is 100% guarantee that it will be what? View serializable or not, right? Because these conflict serializables all are view serializable as well, right? We can see with the help of Venn diagram, right? But understand, if the schedule is not conflict serializable, then you have to move on to check whether it is view serializable or not, right? So understand one thing, right? We try to avoid view serializability here. In this case, the reason behind is for conflict serializability, checking for conflict serializability, we talk about the programming part, right? The time complexity, or say the time taken to check this conflict serializability, is your order of n square basically. N is your you can say the number of nodes in the graph, right? Means in the graph, this the question comes of your graph theory now, algorithm part. In the graph, if you want to check whether there is a loop or not, if there is a loop, we check with the help order of n square. With the help of 2 for loop, you can just check out that, right? And say that time complexity is order of n square, that is polynomial time complexity, right? But understand, in view serializability, this is not polynomial time, this is your npc problem, that is an np complete problem. Reason behind is, see, for conflict serializability, right? So we find out particular specific serial schedule. For example, if we have 3 transactions, how many total serial schedule possible? 3 factorial, that is what? 6. So when we apply the conflict serializability, out of those 6 we are finding that one schedule which is serial. Understand, right? This is the concept, right? And to find this one schedule, we use the time complexity of order of n square. But in view schedule, remember, since this is NPC problem, time complexity is in exponential time complexity, 2 power n, right? So in that case, n power n, all these are time complexities which are in exponential time. So reason being is, in view serial, remember, in view serial, if we have 3 transactions, the total possibilities are 3 factorial, that is 6. So in view serializability, we need to check each and every one, right? We are not finding out directly that one schedule. Here we will check all the 6 serial schedules which can give you the result of serializability for this particular schedule, right? So if you have, let's say, 10 transaction in a schedule, then definitely it's a 10 factorial. You can just think about that number, it's a very, very large, right? 364400, I don't know, remember this. So this is what the number of no serial schedules that you have, you need to check. But you understand, in a real life, right, in real life, thousands of transactions in a series, in a single schedule keeps on running. So even computer cannot compute the value of this one. Even Turing machine not able to, right? So this is the reason, right, why we try to avoid view serializability, right? Because we need to check for every each and every possibility that can give you the result of um, that give you a result of serial schedule for the corresponding parallel schedule, right? So this is the reason, being NPC problem, right? So we try to avoid view serializability. And remember one more thing, we don't directly jump. For example, if we fail in finding the conflict serializability, right? So don't even start solving for view serializability. Remember, if a schedule is not conflict serializable, but it is a view serializable, then there must be a blind write. We know what is blind write, right? Blind write means you are writing, you are updating the values without reading it. That is your blind write. So remember, if your conflict serializability fails, right, and you start looking for view serializability, then remember, if the schedule will be view serial, then definitely there will be a blind write in that one. But this vice versa is not true. Means if blind write is there, then it may or may not be view serial. But if there is no blind write, then it's not view serial, right? So you check whether there is a blind write or not. If it is not, it's not view serial. If it is a blind write, if there is a blind write, then again, then definitely we need to apply now view serializability. Hope it clears, right? This is a kind of trick you can just keep in mind to check for view serializability or not, right? So remember this point, every conflict serial is a view serial, right? Okay, any doubts so far? Now let's start. What are the view serializability things? Okay. To prove for view serializability, first we check what are the view equal schedule. Right. So remember, if there is schedule DUL, yeah. If there is a schedule which are, or say basically two, which is a view equal, right, for some serial schedule, that is S dash, if schedule S means these both S and S dash are view equal, then this schedule S is what? View serializable, right? This we will need to find out. So we find out some serial schedule with which this S is view equal. Then what is this view equal now, right? How we say that is view equal? Let's understand. I'm stating the point, right? So I'm just explaining these points, and then we will see with the help of example, right? So understand them properly. Let's take two schedules, S1 and S2, which we want to check whether they are view equal or not, right? So these are two schedules. The first point is, there are 3 points. The first is initial read, that is initial read. So what it means, the transaction Ti, right? So okay, let me see. Some schedule is there, right? There is some schedule S1, right? In this one we have a lot of transaction. Some transaction Ti, I'm just talking about any transaction Ti, right? Reads the data item A from the initial database in S1. That is, it performs a read operation over here in transaction. This is the order that we have, right? So different transaction, this is some transaction who is reading the data item A from the database, right? Then schedule S2 schedule is there. Also the transaction Ti must read the database A first. It means what? Both of the schedules, right? So both of the schedule, same transaction should read the data item initially. Means initial read item should be same. Understood? So if transaction Ti reads data item A from the initial database in S1, then in schedule S2 also, Ti must read the data item A, right? Same from the initial database. It should not be that Ti transaction is reading the initial database, that's fine. But in S2 schedule, the same transaction is reading the database of some other updated by or some other transaction updated values. That should not be the case, right? So understood. So we will understand with the help of example also. Let me state first. The second is your updated reads. Just keep them in mind, right? We will solve with the help of question. What is the updated read? See, again, some schedule. If transaction Ti, let's say if transaction Ti reads the data item A, capital A, right, which is updated by transaction Tj in S1, right? So Ti reads the data item A, which is updated by transaction Tj in the same schedule, that is update, let's say write operation, this one. If this is the scenario, right, in the schedule S1, in the S2 also, right, Ti transaction must read the data item A, which is updated by Tj. Means same operation should be there. Tj updates the data item, then Ti must reads it. Same means this Ti should not the read of the value which is not updated by any other transaction. This should be updated by Tj only. There can be many transactions. See, dotted means there can be many transactions there, right? This is what updated read, right? Hope it clears. And the third one is final write. Understand, this is not for same transaction, I mean a same data item. I mean in the schedule, obviously we can have A data item, we can have B data item, also we can have C data item, right? And these everything applies for every different data item. In the schedule, if we have B data item also, then the same definition applies for B also, right? So we'll see that. Now final write. The final write says that if Ti transaction, right, if Ti transaction performs a final write of data item A in S1. So for example, if Ti is there and this Ti is performing the final write, it means what? After this one, in any of the transaction after this operation, none of the transaction is performing any write operation. Means it is the final write now. Right. So Ti performs the final write of data item A in S1. Then in S2 also, final write of A must be done by transaction Ti. There should be write on it. So these should be what? Final write. These are final write. Right. So these are the three conditions. If any of the two schedules, right, these two schedule, any of these schedule follow these three conditions, it's like if any one fails, then definitely none of them will be VUC equivalent. right? If all these three conditions are satisfied, we say the transactions are what? View equivalent, right? So any doubt in these 3 points, let me know. We'll solve, understand that of example. Uh, okay. Okay, fine. So let's see this question now, and we'll see all of these points. Let's take S1 schedule with values T1, T2, T3, and S2 schedules T1, T2, T3. Understand, see, keep in mind this view serializability question will be different, right? Because this is NPC complete problem. If you remember, the NPC is just an approximation algorithm, right? So means NPC problems are those problems, if you remember, I mean, if you have done, there is no algorithm exist for this one. Means there is no standard procedure that we can follow to find the solution of a NPC problem, whether it's NPC, NP complete, or it's an NP hard problem. Every type of NP problem, right? NP, there is no algorithm exist for this. It means there is a no way method, right? So if you will follow the book, for example, two books may have different, and they used to have different, procedure to solve the question of view serializability. Remember this thing, right? See, now, for example, we have these two schedules, and let me write the operations. These are the operations for your schedule S1, and remember in the exam, right, if the questions will be given for view serializability, and the question is like kind of lengthy or something like that, they are going to check your concept. Remember, we'll discuss that after this. So for example, we have two schedules over here right now, right? So now let's check these conditions. Initial read, right? So first check for the whether initial read is there or not. So how many data item we have? A, only single one data item. Fine, good. So let's start initial read. So which transaction in S1 is performing the initial read? Here on data item A, I think T1. T1 started the initial read. Yes or no? So the transaction is T1, right? See, because this read, understand, initial read means I told you, see, definitions are very important. Generally, we used to ignore the definitions. I told that in initial read, transaction TI reads the data item A from initial database in S1. So you might have ignored this term from initial database. So that's why you can think like read A, this is also initial read. No, I said initial database. So this read A is not getting the value from the database. This read A will get the value whatever this read have fetched, because this read in the very beginning, the first initial read, when this read operation was performed in initial database, if we have 100 value, this read took the value 100 from database to the local buffer, shared buffer. So this read is going to read the value this one, this here, not this. So that's why these are not the initial reads. Only this is the initial read, that is for transaction T1. Right? Hope it's clear. Now for schedule S2, what is the initial read? See, same. That is T1. Right? So initial read is same in both the schedule. First is true. Right. So as I told you, there is no specific method for this one, right? Sometime we check initial read first, sometime final write. So let's first check the final write now, because the easy one we can check first, right? So generally initial read and final writes are easy. Updated reads, it's also easy. We'll see how, right? But for the final write now, let's see. On data item A, where is the last write A statement operation? See this one. That is in transaction T3, right? For schedule S1, what is the final write of this? And again, that is in transaction T3. Fine. So both of them also clear. Right. Now let's see the updated read. So what are the updated read? So updated read says again the transaction TI reads here. See the transaction TI reads the data item A. Right, reads the data item A which is updated by transaction TJ in S1. Right. Then in that case the second schedule also the same operation should be there. For that remember we are going to this see this problem is of read, right? So what it means, you need to look at the operation where there is a read operation is there, right? So and for that read on specific item, above that we will check is there any write operation or not on the same data item and different transaction. This is what we have to do, right? So see here how many, where are the read, this is the read, but before that there is no write there, no, this one. See, this is write operation is there, but our motive is to find the read first. So no, no, no. This read is there. Now this read, above this read, check whether there is a write A or not, right? And check just above means just near to this read operation. That is what they say, because this is also there, right? But this read is going to get the value from this updated, not this, right? So just adjacent you can say. So this is the there, right? So this is the read, updated read, right, which is getting the value updated by this one. So you say w of a is there, that is of which transaction 2, so we write w2, and after w2 we go to read of a, right, and which read, this is 3, so we write this 3 over here, right? So from t2 to t3 actually this updated read is happening, right? Is there any other? No. Now let's check for this one, updated read, right? Now let's check for this also. Read, no, no. For this, right, now we are looking for this read, right? So this read is there. So check just before the write on data item A, not this one. We have this here. After this, we have this and then this. So this read is going to read the value which is modified by this one, right? So this is what w of a, but from which transaction t1, then w1a, and then we are going to this one read of a from transaction what t3. This is what from t1 to t3, and see are these equal, is are the updated reads equal? No, these are not equal, hence updated read fails over here. In this case we say that s1 and s2 are s1 and s2 are not view equal, and hence if not view equal then we say it's not even view serializable, and hence no serial schedule is possible here. Understood, right? So in this way we used to, okay, now let's solve one question of serial which is a view equal. Okay, this one I have written. So let's take to schedule s and s test. Right, now let's see whether this is view equal or not, right? First check for view equal, sorry, initial read, right? Check for initial read. See, it's not difficult, right? Because you have some step and you just need to follow. How many data items over here? Now see, we have two data items, that is A and B. So we check initial read for A as well as for B. The same for here, IR I'm just writing in initial read for A and B. Write the transaction number. For a data item A in S and S test. In S, we have initial read in transaction T1 on A. Fine. And for B, see B from where started, it's here. Same T1 perform the initial read B. Now here, transaction A, read A operation from T1, that's fine. That is T1. And for B, against T1. See, both are same, right? So check for final write. in both of the cases, for A and B both, right? Not for even a single one. Final right. So for final right in A, in this one, right A is there, but it's not final. Yeah, this one. After this A, after this operation, do we have right A anywhere? No. So final right is this one and performed by T2 on A. And for B, we have this one, right of B. After this, there is nothing, that is T2. Same here, final right on A. This is read A. This is right. There is no A. Um, this should be A over here. Mistake. Right. So this should be A. So for this one, on final right A, the operation is performed by transaction T2. Right, because there is no right after this one on A data item. And for B we have this one, that is T2. Again, both are same over here. Right, so this is the final right. Now let's see updated read. Updated read for both of them. Right, see now check for A. Let's check read operation. This is there, this is right A. For read A, see this is there, read A, right? So this read A operation, this read A operation is performed, this one, right? So this updated, this is the updated read by the transaction T1, right? So we write here, so is this pair is there or not? So let's write it over here, that is W1 R2, right? So see now, read operation, we need to check in different transaction, right? So there are single one. Now move on to here. This read A, before that, do we have write A? Yeah, it's there. See, this read A and this write A. So which the transaction? That is write A and read A. From this to this, that is 1 and 2. And see, both are equal. Right? So this question may come into mind that it's not just after this one, means just before this is not, but it is just before. Just try to understand, because this is data item B, these are B data items. So there is nothing to do with A and B. There is nothing to do with different data items, because if there would be A, then we can say that yeah, that's a problem, right? But these are B. So right after the, before this read of A, we have write of A only, right? So that's why this is updated read. Any other possibilities for A? No, read B. Before this there is no B. This read B is there and this one, right? So W B, and this is RB. Again, this is 1 and this is 2. Now check for this one also. So where check for read B. Read B is there, right? But there is no above that. Read A, write A. This is write B. This is read B. This read B is performed below above this one. So this one, because these are both from A data item, nothing to do with. So this is here. This is from 1, that is 2. See, both are equal. Yes or no? Now all the three conditions are satisfying. We say that S and S dash are view equal, and you can see that this is what serial schedule, T1 first and then T2. So the serial schedule possible is T1 and then T2, this way, T1 and T2 first, right? So in this way we identify this the the view equivalent or not between two different schedules, right? But understand, before starting solving for this one, I told you, check whether this schedule S is what your conflict equal or not, conflict serializable or not, right? So how we find out that? Using precedence graph. So for this one, let's draw the precedence graph. T1, T2, T3. right? If there is there is no cycle, means graph is acyclic, then there is no need to do all of these, because we understood if the schedule is conflict equal, then it will be view equal, or say the schedule is conflict serializable, then it will be also view serializable. So we have the transaction T1, T2, T3 as vertices, and now find the conflict pairs. So read A, conflict pair is what? Right of A. That is from this one. This is conflict pair, that is T1 to T2. Right. Any other? No. Right of A. Conflict pair is what? Right of read of A will be the right of A. But again from T1 to T2, that's okay. Right. Now for this one, read of B, conflict pair is right of B. That is here. T1 to T2. There is no T3, sorry. That is T1 to T2. Right, and right of B, yeah, it's there, and with read of B, but again T1 to T2. See, only this is the precedence graph. There is no cycle, there is no from T2 to T1, no cycle is there. Right, in this obviously first T1 to T2 we can see that. Right, so in this way we say that it's already conflict serializable schedule. But understand, see, just look at this one. What we have actually done is understand this pair and this pair. Look at the transaction very clearly. Right. See, these are on data item A and these are on data item B. So can't we just swap them? Swap means there is no conflict between these, are non-conflict, right? And you swap over there. If you will perform a swap operation, this will equal to this one only. And why we are able to swap? Because there is no conflict. These are on different data item. So if you will swap them, this will be, and automatically if you are swapping, it means, and we are getting a conflict serializable schedule, means there is no the transaction will not make your data inconsistent, right? So that's why this is conflict serializable by default. Anyhow, we should be getting it as a view equal or not, view serializable or schedule, right? uh, Now let's take an example. Already we have understood with the help of that. I have another example. Okay, but see, understand. There can be a different ways to solve the question. Let me discuss one more different type of solving technique that you can probably follow to solve the question. What's the time? Let me see. Oops. Okay. Let's we can do that. At least one question. See, one schedule is given. We have operations like this. So these are the operations. Okay, we need to check in the questions. You will be given something like this one, and you need to test whether it's a view serializable schedule or not. Right. So how we will do? See, another one more method that I will generally ask you to follow. Yeah, just hold on to for 2-3 minutes. We'll give the attendance. So understand now properly. This is important. You can follow this method, and generally this method is more understandable, right? You can follow. We have this schedule, right? So this side this side you are given schedule, and this side you need to find out equal schedule, equal view equal schedule, you can say, right? Now see, understand the method. First I am checking for final write, for example, right? In this one we'll check for final write. How many transactions we have? Maximum number 3, that is T1, T2, T3. We are checking on data item what? A. 1 is there, so a data item, no worries. Final write, check start from here. Which one have final write? W3A, that is T3. So this is what final write. Now understand, see, understand the logic, how I'm solving the question. Final write is on T3. Any schedule that I will find out to be view equal, that schedule also should have final write on T3. Means in the last T3 transaction should be there. Before that, we can have either T1 or T2. I'm writing in the bracket. It means what? We can have any order of T1, T2, but finally we should have T3. I'm writing the all the conditions of his view equal schedule over here. And in the last, any serial schedule that follow all the condition will be my answer here, right? Hope you understand. So this is the final write over here. After final write, let's look at the read, initial read, right? So for initial read, we write what is the data item we have, right? See how I'm writing data item. Then what is the IR, that is initial read. And after then, what are the write operation on that? What are the transaction that performing the write operation? So data item, what we have, A only. We can have multiple, so that's why it's tabular format A. Now see initial read. For initial, start from the very beginning. Which transaction have initial read? R1A. That is T1 transaction, right? What are the write operation? Which transaction are performing the write operation? See, W1A, that is T1 is performing the write operation. T2 is also performing the write operation, and T3 is also performing the write operation, right? But understand a read operation is performed by this also, R2A, that is T2, right? You write all the transaction which are performing the initial read. For example, right? So initial read, I am just saying that, okay, for this one, this read operations is there, right? So this is just, you can just leave even then, there's nothing wrong. But according to this, see what logic we confirm according to this over here. First, you should have T1, right? After T1, you can have T2 or say T3, right? You have T1 transaction, and then you can have T2 and T3, right? Here, for example, T3 should be there in the last, right? T3 should be there in the last, and then you have T1 and T2. In this one, you have T1, and then you can have T2 and T3. But here, it is also saying that if initially you have T2 transaction, if initial read operation is there in T2 transaction, then you can have T1 and T3 later on after that. Means if initial read is there on T2 transaction in this way, right, then you can perform T1 and T3 in this serial or not. But you cannot perform both of them all together. Means there cannot be a possibility that says that initially you perform T1 also and initially you perform T2 also. At a time, either you can form T1 or you can form T2, but you cannot form all together, right? So and according to this one, you have T1 and T2 in the very beginning, right? So means in the starting, any of one you can have, but according to this, you have T1 as well as you have T2 also, right? So that's why there is no condition that says that even you can take first T1, means T1 and then T2 T3, and it's showing that T2 T1 and T3. These are the possibilities, because in the last we have T3 transaction, that is must, right? But we'll check that T1 and T2, none of them is you know view equivalent schedule, right? So if you perform T1 first, if you perform all the T1 transaction first, right? So in the T1 transaction, what we are going to have, R of A, right? And then what, W of A, and then what, nothing. And if you perform T2, then T2 means R of A, first this one, and then W of A, and that's it, right? So see, these are the possibilities. Either T1 first for this one, and then T2, right? Or T2 first and then T2. But you cannot, you cannot swap them. You cannot perform them swapping, because if you perform the swap, that means what, T2 and T1 you are going to get. But again, these are on same data item. If you will swap, there will be a conflict, right? So that's why, due to this reason, no serial schedule that can follow this pattern of T1 and T2 is possible, right? So we'll understand this method again by taking more examples probably, right? So in the next class, right? So a lot of questions are there. You will practice 2 or 3 questions, and then you will be probably able to understand in a more better way, right? So okay, let me give the link for the attendance. Yeah, so that is for today. I mean, with this one we have at least get an idea of what actually the view schedule is, right? And so we can further solve questions on this one, right? Okay, fine. That is for today. Let me stop recording. You have the link.